Correct. Liberty Middle School. Thank you very much. Car riders, if you are riding a car, if you're picking up your child, you are allowed to go. The bus riding children are being asked to stay again at Liberty Middle School. And again, we'd urge schools and anyone else to call us in as you hear information that we can pass along to our viewers. Yeah, definitely let us know. I believe on the phone we have Bob Schuster of Anderson. Bob, are you there?
Yes, Nigel, I'm here.
Tell us what you saw.
And I'll tell you, I'm happy to tell you that I'm here. I was just coming back from lunch with a friend of mine. We were just talking about the fact I'd never seen a tornado. And as I come across the bridge on 123, I looked over and I saw one forming. I said, you know, it looks like a tornado. As I turned back on 93, there it was. I got right across from the baseball field and looked up, and there was a tornado. I'm thinking, it's a tornado. That's the real thing. And at first I was thinking, okay, this is cool. It's a tornado. Then all of a sudden I looked ahead of me, and branches and trees and things were just flying everywhere in front of me. And that's when I realized this is serious business here. And I didn't know if I should stop or keep on going because the, branches and things were flying all in front of me. I took a right in front of Little John and just stepped it forward as quick as I could to get away from it. And boy, then a big tree came right in front of me, right there on Perimeter Road, and it just scared me. And I tell you, I couldn't be happier to get back over to the P&A building in the basement where everybody was huddled up, because at that point electricity was off on campus, and everybody kind of huddled over in the P&A building because it's in the basement. It's almost like a bunker down there where my office is. And
Bob. Hey, Bob, can you hold on for us for just a second? We've got some new information we need to get from John Sesrich. Hang on the line. We're very interested, but let's go to John.
Thanks, Beth. We've got it now. A tornado warning has been extended, as I've been talking about the last several minutes, about how it's moving so quickly off to the north and northeast. It's making its way into the Golden Strip area. Now that tornado warning has been extended farther to the northeast. It does include now western part of Spartanburg County and now all the way up into east central part of Greenville County. It does include you folks in Greer, Taylors, the Greenville area, and now all the way into just west of Spartanburg. You're not under that warning. It's just in the western part of Spartanburg County, and possibly all the way up, if we can zoom on in a little bit tighter into western Spartanburg County, Jolene, or somewhere right in there, that is fine, and we'll go on in. I think it's probably the warning goes as far to you folks in Inman, real close. In fact, it's on your way, so you folks in Inman should already start to prepare yourself and take cover. And Duncan, Greer, you're all in the tornado warning now, along with Taylor's, and of course Malden, Simpsonville. That cell is moving quickly in your direction, so you need to take cover immediately.
Wow. All right, John, thank you very much. Bob's still on the line. Bob, describe to us what you saw with this tornado. Was it thin? Was it thick? How quickly was it moving?
Nigel, it wasn't that big, actually. It wasn't as big as the one that I've seen on TV, but it was a little smaller. But it had just started to develop as I looked over there, and it was in a full form as a funnel cloud as you would see it if you have never seen one. And I had never seen one. And once I realized that was a tornado, I said, "Wow, that's a tornado!" And then because it was to the left of me, almost over the water, just past Little John Coliseum. And I looked up, and when I did, then I noticed everything around me was just moving, and it was almost surreal. The things were flying in front of me, and tree limbs are going everywhere. But I got to tell you, I have a new respect for the meteorologists, and John's really got his work cut out for him this evening. Those guys are going to earn their money today.
Yeah. All right, Bob Schuster, thank you very much for calling in from Anderson. Can you imagine having a conversation with friends and saying, I've never seen a tornado before, and not a half an hour later you're in the path of one, watching things fly all around you? I mean, this is just, it's getting worse and worse. We've got downtown Greenville included now. We've got the airport. It's very close to downtown Spartanburg as well. We've got Greer. This situation, more and more of our viewing area needs to take cover right now. And again, we do have that one photograph from Lake Hartwell, but we're certainly encouraging more people to send us photos at photos@WYFF4.com. Again, if you're like Bob or Dan or Tracy, anybody else who's called in, call us 240-5258. Again, photos@WYFF4.com. And I believe we have another caller. I believe we have another caller, exactly. Tony Wardlaw from Clemson. Tony, tell us what you saw.
Hello. Yes, this is Tony Wardlaw. I'm from Clemson University, and we were warned by sirens that there were tornadoes touching down, and for all the Clemson University students to take cover. So we all went to the basement of Tillman. In Tillman, my best friend, Mary Marshall Grace, was in Pike. She called me. We were all in the basement of the buildings, and then the police, we heard a bunch of noises and wind. So we all went outside, and it had cleared up. So we all ran to our cars. As we were running to our cars, there was tornadoes. Like the sky was just crazy, and there was trees. The trees had touched down. They had come down by the intramural field, and then as we were walking, there was trees on top of all these cars. There was police everywhere. The students were going crazy, and it was just pretty scary.
I mean, you had to feel like, where was the safe place to be once you were already outside?
Yeah, well, I was walking with my friend, and we were walking down the big hill going towards the stadium to get to our cars, and we were just, we were just taking action. We were like, okay, if we were, giving each other the scenarios. If we see another tornado, we're just going to run and hide behind, the BB&T bank machine, or there was really nowhere to hide, and we were freaking out. And my best friend had to run from the stadium to fight and get to take cover. And the sirens were going off at Clemson. It was so scary.
Please tell us, Tony, that you've called your parents and told them that you're okay. I know a lot of moms and dads of Clemson University students concerned tonight. Tony, thank you very much for your call in.
And the scary thing with that was there was a initial sound of a tornado. The sirens went off. It went by. They came outside, and then yet another tornado or more winds hitting the area. So really, we need to stay inside as long as possible right now.
And John Sesrich, what is your advice for these students as they kind of get the all clear? I can imagine sometimes you don't want to be, thinking, okay, it's fine, it's over, the sirens are done, we can get out of here.
And I tell you, Beth and Nigel, there's certainly not in the all clear, not at all. In fact, if you live in Clemson right now, take a look at Live Super Doppler 4 HD. I'm showing a pretty good, we call a hook echo. Possibly another tornado maybe developing here just southwest of you folks in Pendleton, moving north-northeast. So you folks in Pendleton and Clemson and Central, you remain under a tornado warning. That cell is showing some rotation as it makes its way quickly off to the north-northeast. We'll put it into motion, and you can see that cell. So we've got another cell possibly producing a tornado getting to move into the Clemson-Pendleton area, eventually into Central, maybe even into 6 Mile. I'm going to pull out a little bit and take a look at, so that's one line moving through. Then we get a little bit of a break right along the South Carolina-Georgia border, and then we have more thunderstorms developing back into northeastern Georgia. I'm going to zoom on in and take a closer look at these cells where tornado warnings continue for you folks in Commerce. Now these cells will eventually make their way off to the north-northeast very, very quickly, and heading for you folks in Carnesville, also Clarksville, Toccoa. You may end up with some of these thunderstorms that may produce wind damage or maybe even tornadoes. And that is just over the northeastern part of Lake Lanier. They certainly need the rain, but they obviously do not need the severe weather. So we're looking at, Beth and Nigel, just a lot of severe weather breaking out, individual cells with these tropical lines. This is all in association with which was Tropical Storm Faye, is now rotating on in. So we'll have to deal with this. By the way, we'll remain under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock this evening, and obviously weather conditions remain favorable for the development of tornadoes.
We were talking a few days ago about how fickle Faye has been in terms of not bringing us any
for you and show you where sort of the center of this storm is, where we're starting to see some of the rotation again just to the south and east of I-85 as it continues up toward the Malden area. So once again, this is the latest tornado warning that's been issued. We are hearing sirens going off in Spartanburg, but the storm is well to the west. Again, this is in western Spartanburg County. This is the area of Spartanburg County that's covered under this tornado warning. But again, it is not headed our way right as of yet. We're continuing to see if these storms continue to move in this direction. And obviously, it will give you the very latest here in just a little bit. All of the latest you can see on the top of your screen there will be the latest updates for warnings for watches as well. Of course, still in a tornado watch until 7 o'clock tonight. So these storms are not done. By the time we get to our 5 o'clock newscast, we'll probably have more warnings and watches to tell you about. And you can see those earlier warnings around the Clemson area have just been allowed to expire as we are live on the air here. So now this is the only tornado warning that we're watching. And again, this is for parts of eastern Greenville County and western Spartanburg County until 4:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Of course, we'll bring you the very latest with much more on Storm Team 7 as the afternoon wears on.
Was this really a ghost in a Carolina high school? The answer after Judy.
What do you do?
Sections of Chester County until 4:30 p.m. and it looks like that storm is actually strengthening, so this is definitely going to be one to watch.
All right, Eric, you were talking about that storm to the southwest, saying in the next hour to 3 hours. Any idea of when it will be moving across our area?
Yeah, this line of storms hasn't been moving all that fast, so I would say that probably it's coming up on 4:30, about 4:15 right now. I would guess that this is going to be an issue around 6 o'clock this evening, at least for some of our areas on the fringes. We're talking about Union County in South Carolina. I want to emphasize that because we have a Union County, obviously, where Monroe is, east of Charlotte. Then we have Cherokee County right in here. And I would say if anybody's going to be under the gun first, in North Carolina, you got to watch very carefully Polk, Rutherford, and also Cleveland County. So I would say within about the next 60 to 90 minutes, this area is going to be certainly a bullseye of concern. But in the meantime, right now, again, we'll take you back. Let's keep you up to date now on this cell because it has actually shown some extra signs of life down this way. As now we're getting some lightning strikes, both negative polarity and also positive polarity strikes. Sometimes meteorologists like to keep an eye on these blue lightning strikes.